Okay, I want to do a really quick sound check. Okay, one more sound check. All right, I'm going to try it from over here. Maybe it's a little bit better. Yeah, but hold on. I'm trying to get my sound right. Yeah, I think this is about as good as the sound's going to get. I don't know. I've got this headset that's got a microphone in it, but apparently if I hook this camera up that has a built-in mic, it's not going to work. Gotta mute this one. There we go. Okay. I think I got it all in order. Hey, Jeremy. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about basically this new thing that, well, just started talking about it the other day on After Hours, about the physics of change, basically. Because I was watching these, what is it called? The Crash Course series, and there was this one that was on physics, and they were talking about, like, well, if you want to move something, if you want, speed and all this, and basically, I might as well take this off. That's not doing anything. Okay, so basically, they have all these formulas for, like, how to calculate how to move stuff, and how to calculate the amount of work that you do, and all this. And I thought, basically, like, why not apply that to politics and see if that works? And yeah, I mean, I think it works pretty well. So what I was looking at is, like, basically, if you want to create a force. So force, here, let me just move this over here for you. It'll be easier to talk about. Actually have it up. Let's see. Yeah, so basically, if you want to make a change, you have to have a force behind it. And if we want to create that force, we're going to have a mass of people moving. We've got to have, and how do we do that? I mean, we've got to pick, basically, hold on a second. So we basically have to pick, I would say, a cause, maybe, to get people behind. And I think right now the one that everybody seems to be behind is single-payer healthcare. And I think we can use this to get our power back, basically. And if you're looking at the equation here, like, you'll see power is just work divided by time. So the more work and time you have, the greater the amount of power you're going to get in the long run, which is why these rich people are so dangerous. Now they have the money to buy other people's work, but they have that money to buy your time, and they have that money to buy other people's work, that their work is to, divide up your time, that will, keep you busy to where you can't create that force, So each one of these formulas is based off the last one. So, in order to get work, power, you got to work and time. In order to get work, you have to have force times distance. In order to get force, you have to do mass times acceleration. So that's why it seems like, they attack you on, like, the most basic level, and that's why they also attack you on, like, the most basic level of, like, your survival, because when it comes to, like, the hierarchy of needs, like, your first job is to make sure that you can stay alive with, like, food, water, shelter. Well, if they attack that, you're going to spend all your time and your work trying to, ensure that you and your family, have those things. So you don't even get a chance to even use your work or your time for, getting your political power back and making a change in, like, let's say your wage or your health care and stuff. So if we can just get people together on this, on single payer, and not just that, but take that movement and move it forward to the next thing, it's kind of like with the invention of, like, technology. Like, it just, you can create it faster and faster because, you have, like, greater technology. So basically, if we can do that with single payer, like, we can get, say, like, okay, when we get that through, because we have so many people behind this. And it's inexcusable. And when people's lives are on the line, people don't have an option but to fight, So, like, if you get people working on this, we just take that success that we're going to get with this and apply it to the next thing, whether it's our wages, cutting back on hours, whatever it is, whatever we choose it to be, like, we can move forward with this. Because, a lot of reasons why people vote the way that they do is because they think that's who's going to win, right? Like, that's the whole thing I heard about Jill Stein or voting third party is I can't vote for them because they're not going to win. And so people want to go where the power is. People want to go where the winners are. And if we can win on single payer, which people, it will only bring even more people in. And so we have to be able to, like, what are we going to do then? What are we going to do then? What is going to be our next objective? So let me go look in let me see if there's anybody in the chat yet. Jeremy. You got any ideas, Jeremy? Like, what would you want to do? Like, if we get, health insurance, like, what's the next thing you want to do? Like, what do you want to tackle? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of conflicted because I think it's important that we all have, a living wage. But at the same time, it's like, well, if we give people more time to explore and to be able to get out there and focus on, the issues and stuff, by, like, let's say we cut back the 40-hour work week to maybe 30 and use that extra 10 hours to give some of these people that are unemployed jobs, it would have more people, lift more people out of poverty, and at the same time give those people that are already working like 80 hours right now more time to devote to their, to educating themselves on the stuff or to pursuing, like their passions or whatever. So that's the one thing I don't know. Like, I kind of have like the formula, but it's just like, well, what do we plug into it? Like, what topic, what issue should we rally behind? But I think right now, like, my main focus is on creating more time for people. Whatever issue, like, whatever that is, how is the best way that we can create more time for people? Because let's face it, poor people, they don't have much time. Okay, we have 15 years less than rich people, and I can't buy people to do my work for me. I can't buy shortcuts. I can't buy, a dishwasher, like, I have to wash all my dishes by hand. And so, that's the thing I'm talking about, like, when it comes to poverty. It is such a restriction, and not just financially, because I can, if you're creative, you can work around that. I mean, that's what we've been doing, for generations here. I mean, if you don't have something, you can make it, or you can figure out a way around it. But, it's how much time is that going to take? And is it worth it? Like, I have to make my own I'm like, I had to make my own mop, I had to make my own broom, stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, I could go down to the dollar store and buy it easy for $1, but like, I don't have $1, So, yeah, but that's like so much of my life spent wasted on making something that I had no interest or desire to make, but it's just something that I had to do in order to clean my house. So, you know, but that's how they keep you busy. And if you look, I mean, that's what these politicians love to do. Politicians, corporations, media, I mean, look at it. That's everything they do is spent on divisiveness. The baby boomers versus the millennials, minorities versus white people. You've got country people versus, city people. It's all this divisiveness, and we know that, but, that's why. That's why, because they know once you have the mass, you have the force. And then, logical extension from that, you take back your power. You get your power back. Whatever it is that we choose to do with that. So, and you see that, and not only do they divide us up by the masses, but they also divide us up by time, incremental change, pragmatism, slow but steady progress. And this is what I was saying on After Hours. If there's a giant, asteroid headed for Texas, and you have to get out of Texas or you're going to die. You're in the blast radius. And you can start making your way to the border, and that's good. That's good progress. But if you don't make it past that border in enough time, you're going to die. And that's where we're at with climate change, with healthcare. If we don't do this within a certain week, so we have a time frame that we have to make all of these changes by. And now it's at that hour of it's so late, we're going to have to go like 80 miles an hour, nonstop to get to the border of Texas if we want to make it out alive. And there's so many different ways that, we're ending the world right now. Capitalism is in its last stage. You've got the climate. You've got, you name it. Look at, you've got corporations that do not care at all whatsoever about whether or not they don't care about tomorrow. They care about right now. That's how every single one of these businesses is being ran. It's all about infinite growth. Everybody has to grow and grow and grow, and if you don't grow, your business is a failure. Well, you can't do that. I mean, there's just a certain limit to that. But even when you, for instance, like the prison industrial complex, there's only so many criminals that you're going to lock up naturally before you have to start, well, I guess they're going to have to pass new laws like maybe a new drug war like Joe Manchin wants to do, or, criminalizing something that, shouldn't be criminalized, like, marijuana and stuff like that. So it's like, they have to grow their profits, so that means more criminals, they have to make more criminals. This is a recipe for failure. I mean, and for that business, at some point, you're going to lock up everybody, See, okay, Rusty, I'm glad you're here, because that's something I'm really not familiar with. I honestly thought that was, and I know this sounds really stupid, but I honestly thought that was a word that they had made up in the Republican debate. I just thought, I didn't know I've never heard that before, and I don't know what the term actually means, like Islamist and Muslim, or what is that? Can you give me a quick definition? Oh, cool. That was the first time I've seen them couple up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I couldn't tell you right now, but since you asked about it, okay, as long as it's Sharia law. Yeah, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good at all. I'm against anybody wanting to impose like any kind of religious law. I mean, I see that here. I mean, of course, I live in like West Virginia. So it's not like we got anybody like clamoring for Sharia law here, but I've got a couple of senators that want to institute the Bible. It's like the state book and stuff. So it's insane. So like yeah. If I ever hear of it, I mean like yeah, I mean that sounds like totally batshit crazy if you want to do that. Like, but I haven't come across it yet. Yeah. But if you've got more information, like I don't know if you've got my Twitter. It's _Redneck Economics. So if you want to send it there, like I'll totally read up on it. I gotta do more research on it though. There's me. Yeah, that sounds awful. Yeah, I mean, like I would like to see like, and I know that's of course like I haven't come across it here, but probably in these other countries, like I'm sure that that's something that they probably push for. But it's kind of like with here, we've got people that try to push for like the Christian. I mean, it's crazy, like how they can teach creationism in like certain schools and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a world where just like you do your own thing, But yeah. Okay. So basically, I don't know. What do y'all want to talk about? I'm kind of going off on a tangent with this stuff, but yeah. What's been on y'all's minds lately as far as the news? Like, what's your issue that you want to talk about? We'll look in the chat here. I mean, notice the sound gets funky too, because like it's sometimes there's like this really creepy like feedback noise that starts up too. Mm. Yeah, I think as far as like that kind of like as far as like religion and stuff goes, like I'm very like I guess libertarian in that sense. Like I just want people just to do what they want as long as they don't screw with other people. That's why I don't understand like the drug war. I don't understand all this stuff that people try to impose on other people. It's just like just you do what makes you happy as long as you're not being a dick. Just don't be a jerk. Don't do that. No. No, and that's I wish they would because on these like old like coal mining sites, that's pretty much the only thing that you can do with it. And I know last I heard that they had sent they gave somebody up at WVU some pot plants to grow, so I don't know. I know that they tried to do medicinal marijuana here, and they regulated the crap out of it. All these guys that say that they hate regulation, oh, we're the most regulated state. Well, they regulated the crap out of it until basically you can't do it. You can't even grow it yourself. I mean, there's very few people that even qualify for it. It's a mess. Because they can't piss off their donors in the pharmaceutical and hospital industry. So, yep. I'm with you, Rusty. Like you do your own thing. Let's see. Huh. Oh, I wonder which one it is. I know I got family down in North Carolina. That'd be nice. I know my uncle's struggling real bad. He had strokes and all kinds of stuff. He's a mess right now, and anything that would help him out would be awesome. And especially with all that, pollution that they're dumping in the water down there, that's giving people cancer, with methanol, that of it. It would be really nice if they could find, like, this tiny smidge of compassion in their fucking black hearts and just pass that and let people, like, at least get some sort of comfort before they die of a cancer that was given to them by DuPont. Ugh. Electric price inflation went down. Yeah, that was a big problem here. I know when they started with like the natural gas, when they made that cheaper, our electric prices went through the roof. And I don't want to use, like natural gas. I don't want to use either one. I'd rather switch my house over to solar, but since I don't, have a money tree in my backyard, I have to use electric. And yeah, it is so expensive right now. I try not to use any kind of electric, but like in the winter, I don't have heating. I don't have heating or air conditioning, and my electric was almost $200. Well, it was like $200. So like, yeah, it was pretty bad, and it was all because of the fluctuation of prices. And what are you gonna do? Not pay it? What are you gonna do? Freeze to death? You gotta pay it. Oh, hey, Kevin. We're just kind of talking about whatever issues and topics, whatever you want to talk about. Let's see. Yeah. 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 I wish he would have gone more into it. Like, I really wish that he would have actually covered about like what the impacts of it are, instead of just bringing out some dancing squirrel and making fun of Bob Murray. Although that was nice to see. It's more than most people do. But yeah, I really do wish that he would have gotten more into it, because there are some. I mean, I could go on for hours just about this stuff. The way that the coal industry has ruined not just my state, but in Kentucky, I was hoping he would go into like all these coal slurry spills and the impacts on the environment. I mean, there's so much destruction, and they don't have to clean up the damn thing. And if they do, it's a little fine. It's such a tiny fine that they have to pay. It is nothing compared to the cost of the cleanup, to the cost to our health and the environment. I mean, West Virginia is one of those places. It's like, yeah, well, we don't have much money, but we can go out to the parks and spend time with the kids. We can go out into nature and kind of like just relax and go hunting and fishing. You could rely on fishing. You can't do that anymore. The streams and our lakes, everything is just so polluted. You can't fish. You can't even go out. Our air quality got degrading. There's arsenic and lead in our air. It's in our soil, and it's all from the coal companies. And holy crap. Oh, my God. I cannot imagine living in Florida without AC for one day. Holy crap, Rusty. Dude. Oh, my gosh, that's awful. See, people shouldn't be living like this. Is this not America? I'm sorry. Is this America? I'm supposed to be fucking patriotic tomorrow, How am I supposed to take pride in a place that lets people live like this, Like, this is BS. I've got my mom. She's worked her ass off for this hospital for over 20 years, okay? And she lives in her house all because her husband left her. and she can't afford to pay her own. She had to use the last bit of her money, even though she pays like $150 every paycheck for insurance. She had to spend her last, well, actually it was more like $30 because my sister paid for the rest of her medicine. But she had to use that money to go buy her medicine because she's so sick, and doctors won't figure it out. They're like, oh, well, we'll figure it out eventually, you know. If you die in the meantime, you know, whatever. I mean, yeah, we keep paying the cost of it. We keep paying the cost of it. You know, and it's all about extraction, and I watched them do it here, how they extract the resources from the state, and while the people just suffer and they get no benefit from it whatsoever. And then, you know, and they're doing it to our wallets now. It's not just about resources like these, you know, coal or gas. It's about your money. How can they extract your money from your bank account? You know? I mean, just look what they did over in California. You know, they ripped that away from them. They dangled that single payer. They dangled that in front of those people, and they ripped it away. It's sick. And these are people's lives on the line, you know? I mean, this isn't just some theoretical debate. It's like, you know, this is really happening. People are actually getting sick and not going to the doctor, and they're dying. Quasi-universal health. Oh. I would not expect that. Wow. Good on you, Texas. Huh. Wow, that's kind of funny. Like, Texas is more like progressive on healthcare than California, where all the liberals are supposed to be living, you know? That's so crazy. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Restaurants, crazy. Jesus. Like, what is going on in Florida? I keep hearing stories, and I know, like, they tried to, like, play it off because there was a lot of, like, Florida man stories, you know, like, oh, you know, just the crazy stuff that happens in Florida. But I'm talking about the government. There's some crazy stuff that goes on in Florida. I mean, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I think that says it all. I think that says it all. Yeah, I used to think that those party names meant something. Like when I started, like where I grew up, liberal was always like this dirty word. Like, oh, don't you ever call me a liberal? I will, you know, slap the teeth out of your mouth if you call me a liberal. That was like the like dirtiest insult. I mean, everybody here was like hardcore Democrat. And then I started learning about like what the parties actually meant. I was like, wait a second, maybe I am a liberal. And then, like, I saw the people that were liberals, and I was like, oh, I don't think I'm a liberal. So I would just, I'm independent, you know? Oh, my gosh. I think that would make for a better governor than Jeb or any one of these other buttholes that are in there. um, yeah, so like I don't know. I can't define a party name anymore. It just and that's what's so frustrating about this is because like you want to be able to say I'm this, so you can go find other people like that, and you know be able to fight for the stuff that you want to see happen. But like when you can't even say what you are or what you're about, because everything has this double, triple meaning, and everybody hears the word and everybody thinks something different whenever they hear it. Like I could say progressive, and everybody thinks, like I personally, when I hear the word progressive, I think Hillary Clinton. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want anything to do with that. But if you look at like the definition, I guess that would be probably what I would fall under, because like, I want to see change happen. I want things need to change. But at the same time, I can't even say that because it's just like so associated with those people. Yeah. And it's hard. It's like, I mean, that's what they do, during war. What do? Uh, they attack your sources, like, they'll, blow up trains or whatever to where you can't get your supplies in, like your food or water, stuff like that. What are they doing? You got people fighting just in order to make enough money to keep their resources, like, food, water, and shelter. And what else do? They cut your lines of communication. They down the phone lines. They'll intercept and scramble stuff, and that's exactly what they're doing with this. They have attacked the language itself to where no matter what way you try to communicate, whether it's on the phone or through a letter, on the internet, you can't communicate with other people, because when you say this word, everybody has a different meaning for it, And they can't possibly talk about this stuff without, pissing off most people. Which, I think it's kind of funny, you're not even supposed to talk about this stuff anyway, because it's rude. It's rude to talk about politics, and it's rude to talk about religion, but if you look at the stuff that's rude to talk about, it's like, that's the stuff that we need to be talking about, Like, that's the important stuff. So it's like, yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to bring that up in polite conversation, but what I think's a little bit more rude than bringing up politics? Letting somebody die from, lack of health care. So, and them not even, knowing that they have that option. See, like, I don't know, like, I've never really had an issue with Muslims. Like, I worked at the hospital. I used to, and before that, like, I would, clean houses for people that were Muslim, and, like, they were always really chill with me. Like, I never had, like, this fear or like a anger or anything like that. Like, the people I've met have always been, like, super cool. So, like, I don't know, like, I sense like this is like a big topic for you, and I'll look more into it. Yeah, I mean, like, but, I have the privilege of being like that, because, here in America, it's not really that big of an issue, but, like, let's say, like, the Middle East, where, terrorist attacks happen, like, all the freaking time, they don't get that luxury. Yeah, I don't think anybody should be, like, treated, like, I don't side with Muslims over Christians, or, like, like, I know what you're talking about when they want to, like, basically, like, take up for Muslims and just, like, just totally just throw everybody else, like, what if they're, like, Christians and stuff, out of the bus, stuff like that. It's like, oh, that's sad. Yeah, but I get what you're talking about. How, it's like they want to, like, gloss over, like, all of the, like, the ugly side of it, but they want to point out the ugly side of, like, all these other, people or religions, and it's like, no, you need to have the same standard when it comes to other people. Like, when it comes to other people, you gotta have the same standard. Like, if you're gonna call a Christian out for terrorism, you gotta call Muslim out for terrorism. It's like, but I think that comes back to, like, all the deals that we make over there, because, when 2,000 people die in the blink of an eye on a certain day, of course that would fuel a lot of people to have all this hatred for this group. And so, like, I can understand where they would want to, like, scale that, like, where they wouldn't want people to, like, become, like, to let that hate override them. But I don't think it's for good reasons that they do it. I think it's just because they're trying to protect, like, their donors and their arms deals, Like, they're trying to protect those people. They're not trying to protect, like, just the regular old, Muslim that's just minding his own business around here, you know what I mean? Let me see. Oh, we're going to do something new. Adrian. That's just, yeah, that's kind of like the people I've dealt with. Like, they're just super chill. Like, I haven't met anybody that was like tell me to like cover up my head or anything like that. Like, trying to do anything crazy like that. But I mean, I know they're out there, but it's just it's never been something I've ever had to deal with. Uh, yeah, which I think it's so weird when we were talking about like the hold on. Yeah, I've seen that more because where I've been watching like the Hard Bastard and stuff, and I know like before that I used to watch TYT, and which they show their true colors during the primary, but after that I started looking for other news sources, and you know I started watching the Hard Bastard, and this is stuff that they were not talking about on TYT. Like all the negative stuff. They like they have like this. It doesn't help. Okay, so here's the thing: like when you have an agenda, even if you think like you're doing good with it, when you're lying to people or you're not reporting on the stuff that happens, like different people are turning against those people. So like I know like there are good Muslims and bad Muslims, yeah. But when you like try to protect the bad people, like what are you doing? You're not helping anybody by that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not good. Oh, what is that? Oh yeah. I think I just saw that story. Where he covered that is, I think he's 2 years in jail. Um, See, I don't know. I'm a little conflicted by that because I don't. I mean, like he said, Muslim, and it's like, well, like terror. I don't think the dude should have been in jail for that. Okay. But then again, like he's kind of inciting violence against Muslims, which is like different than saying like, terrorists. Like terrorists, yeah, I could totally like how's that an issue? Like, but yeah, I mean just Muslims in general, like I don't know. Because see, when I hear that, I think of like all the good people I've met, and I'm like, I wouldn't want any one of them put on a bonfire. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It sounds like incitement for like violence, and see, that's the difference between like just hating people and crossing the line. But words are words. See, this is what I think. I'm glad that we're talking about this because this is something like, and screw Madonna. Fuck you, Madonna. Just go away. Like, geez, how does she have? Okay, I get everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but like, if you've got this giant audience, like, try to say something smart. And if you can't say something smart, like, just admit to it. Like, I don't want to mislead anybody and come out here and say like I know everything and I've done all this stuff. Like, there's some stuff that I know more about than others. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I don't know a whole lot about one thing in particular, except for like maybe I try to focus on like economy and stuff like that. I don't think so, Rusty. I don't think you've done anything. I mean, it's not like you're trying to get people to kill other people, so you're cool. I don't think that you should be in jail. But see, that's the thing. It's like, even if you do say that, those are just words. Like, you're not actually, I think jail is for people that have done violence. Not spoken about violence, but have actually, like, inflicted violence upon other people. Because that's, like, jail should be for people that you're trying to keep the public safe from them. Like, these are people that are a danger to others. And, like, I mean, maybe this guy, I just don't see that jail time is, like, the best. I mean, is he going to walk out of jail and be like, yep, I totally love Muslims now, and I totally don't want to put anybody on a bonfire. This is just going to further, like, deepen this person's hatred. You know what I mean? like, there should be some kind of, like, maybe an intervention of some sort. Like, hey, man, I see, like, you've got a lot of anger. You know, like, what would make you feel better about this? Or what do you think we should do, you know? The jail is, I don't know, man. I don't know. Now, maybe, no, I don't know. That's a tough one, because it's, like I said, it's just words. Words can't hurt you, and they can't, I mean, it's not like, I mean, if you actually threw somebody on a fire, then shit, yeah, go to prison. Yeah. And that's the problem I have, like, you know, as far as, like, the refugees. People here are terrified of refugees, but it's not because they're terrified of Muslims. They're terrified of them taking their jobs. That's the number one thing, because they were trying to get, one of these church groups around here was trying to help out some refugees and get them brought in here. And people, there was such an ugly backlash to it, and it was over jobs. And it's just like, yeah, we do have a serious job problem. And when you take money away from people, you're taking food out of their kids' mouths, you're taking away their ability to pay, you know, their mortgage and stuff. So, yeah, I get where they're coming from. But they have all this focus on those people. And it's just like, those aren't the people you should be mad at. Like, the people you should be mad at that you have to fight somebody else for your job is the person that took it away. You know what I mean? And here, that's the coal industry. They have forced us into this industry by not, you know, they won't open up. They made it impossible for any other industry here. So we have to be funneled into the coal industry. And so, like, those are the people we should be mad at. And as far as, like, the safety goes, it's like, yeah. You know, I kind of have, like, an open door policy. Like, for my house, it's like, yeah, this is my space that I live in. And I want to keep my area safe. But at the same time, if somebody comes up to my front door, and I don't know them, you know, and they say, can I come in? I would say, you know, like, well, introduce yourself first. Let's get to know you before you come in. You know what I mean? Because I don't want just some stranger walking in. But at the same time, like, we have to be responsible for the destruction that we've caused to their community. I mean, that's like if, like, a roommate goes and sets fire to my neighbor's house, and then my neighbor comes over and says, hey, can I come in for a little bit? Because it seems like your roommate burned my house down. I would have to say, well, I mean, I didn't directly do it, but, like, that's my neighbor. I gotta take him in, you know? And, like, our government needs to, like, do something about displacing, because we, you know, not only us, but, you know, we've given them the capabilities. We sell them the weapons. We give them the means to do this to these people, and we have to be accountable for that. And I think that we should find a way to help them. But we can't just let people over here like willy-nilly. You know what I mean? We have to be safe, but we have to be responsible. Yeah, I mean, because, like, I try to hear both sides, because here's the thing, like, I am exposed a lot to, I guess, like, right-wing, maybe, I guess is what you would call it, viewpoints, because, you know, a lot of people here, I know in the primaries we voted for Bernie, but for the election, like, we went for Trump. And there's a lot of people whose only news source is, like, Rush Limbaugh and, people like that. And so I hear a lot of stuff from, like, even extreme, like, right-wing stuff. And I try to understand, like, why do they believe this? Like, why are they so... Because before I only heard, like, oh, we hate Muslims or we hate refugees. And then I started actually, like, really listening to them in depth. And it was, hey, we want our jobs. Like, we don't want to lose what little jobs we have left. And it's just like, yeah, I totally get why they would be absolutely terrified of that. I mean, I'm in that boat right now where I'm trying to find a job, and the only places that I can get a job right now is Walmart, or maybe some like McDonald's or something like that. Let me check in with the chat, because I'm just talking everybody's ears off. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's two different things. Although, I will admit, like, there was a time where I was mad at the co-workers, because, like, I'm like, how we have to, like, I didn't understand. I really didn't understand any of this. But just listening to them, it really did do a lot to just kind of open my mind up, because there isn't just, nothing is black and white, like, there's nothing that's just clear cut, well, this is right and this is wrong, you know? Well, hardly anything. I mean, there's so many gray areas. Hmm. Hold on. Let me go back in the chat. I feel like I missed something. Let me see. Let me read this real quick. Yeah, basically what you're describing is, that was basically the coal camps, back in early 1900s, where they gave you your house, they gave you what little piece of land that you would have. You would get, like, you go to the company store with your, company stipends, and you would trade that in for your work supplies, and you would trade it in for, all the stuff like your food, and you would never have enough, and because they use that store as a way to control, for if they lost money in the coal mines like that month, they would just charge the people at the store more, and it was all their money, so they would just give them money to give back to them, and that's kind of what we're living in right now. And I'm trying to tell people about this, like, we're living in a modern day coal camp. You got your government housing, and then we'll give you your, everything that you need to survive. Just don't question anything. You just go to your job, and, you get your garbage pay, and you can just take that garbage pay, and you can turn right back around and give it to the people that paid you. And this is what Walmart did. Walmart just, well, I would say about 10 years ago now. They tried to pass this down in Mexico. Okay, they tried to give these Mexican workers a portion of their paycheck as a store coupon. So you just go and give your money straight back to them. And of course, people heard about it, and even though it was still, in Mexico, where they can get by with a lot of stuff, even that wouldn't fly down there. But they try to bring it back. They're trying to bring it back. This is what they do. I mean, and that sounds so familiar, It's like, where did we hear this from? We'll give you a shelter, basically, and you just do all your work for free. You don't actually get any money. That seems very familiar. Yeah. So, I mean, these people long for the days, and they always talk about, the good old days, these politicians like to take us back to the good old days. Like Joe Manchin wants to take us back to the good old days, where you could just dump whatever chemical you wanted into the water, and the people couldn't do anything about it. They want to take it back to slavery, or feudalism even. That's their ultimate goal, because if they can get something for free, which is what these corporations are used to, they'll do it. And it's just like, well, how do you get people to show up to a job and not get paid. You know, like, how do you get somebody to do that? And it's, well, if you give them something, but they have to give it right back. We'll let you hold it for a second. We'll let you touch it. We'll let you touch this $20 bill, but you got to promise to give it right back. You know? I mean, that's basically what half of America's doing. I mean, look at, and we're the wealthiest country, right? I can't imagine what it's like to live in some of these other countries where they have to do more with even less. Yeah. See, that's the downside of freedom. You know, like, I believe in freedom, yes. But, like, some people want to use that freedom to, like, you know, like, stab other people, you know? Like, you're free to do or say whatever you want, but, like, some of us don't get freedom. Like, the only people that get freedom are the people with money. If you live like me and most of America, it's like, you know, you're not free to do anything. If you even breathe the wrong way, you're going to be fined. You know? Gotcha. No. That does not work because, see, that's the thing when I was talking about, like, with power. Like, power, the whole thing is a power structure. Like, okay, it's the power structure that it's all just, we can't have people with power. That's all I'm saying. I don't like the idea of somebody having, I mean, okay, look at your governor, any one of you. Just look at your governor. Are you happy about that? Are you happy that that person gets to make decisions about your life? That there is a person out there that you do not support, that there are many people out there that you do not support that get to dictate what you do, how you do it, you know? I'm going to do some things, but my governor is Jim Justice, okay? And he's an idiot beyond belief, but, like, he has enough money to hire smart people to do the thinking for him, you know? And whatever he wants to be done, if he wants to be richer or whatever it is, he just hires some people to figure it out for him. That's why he can't do a press conference without somebody backing him up. He's always got to have, like, a wingman because, you know, almost every time something stupid comes out of his mouth, and there's got to be that wingman there to bail him out. But, yeah, I don't like that. That shouldn't be right. And we shouldn't have people that have that ability. You should not be able to do that. There needs to be, you know, how there's supposed to be, like, this check and balance in the government, like the, you know, judiciary branch is supposed to put a check on this other branch. It's like, okay, what about, who puts a check on our government for the people? Who can do that? Because we don't get that. There's no check and balance when it comes to the government versus the people. And we're supposed to have that with, you know, voting, because, you know, if there's somebody that's wrong, or, you know, like that is doing something bad to your community, you should be able to vote them out. But we don't even have that ability anymore, because that's what just happened in California. Even though that they voted for this person that they wanted, they had super delegates come in. I mean, look at what the DNC did during the primary. All these things, they have checks and balances, but it's all against us to make sure that we don't get any power. And that has to be, we have to undermine that power. So that goes back to my very first topic, which is basically, how do we undermine the power? How do we get some of that power back? We can take some of that power back through money. We can take some of that power back through time. Now, which might be a good way, because right now we have people that want to change the Democratic Party from within, and we've got people that want to go third party. There's people that are working on election fraud. There's people suing the DNC. So we're attacking them on all these different levels, you know, like they do us when they attack, they attack us on like whether or not, you know, we're going to be going to jail, on whether or not we're going to be making any money, are they going to send our jobs overseas, are we going to have health care? See, that's how they keep us divided up. So we need to divide them up. Divide up their time. We need to start dividing up their time. You know, that we need to start hitting them on all sides to where they're going to be, you know, busy. And another way that we can do it is coming after them based on our work. We can stop giving them our work. This work is hard. Most people go out there and the jobs they do either suck or it's really hard work. You know, but that is, you're talking like mass striking. I mean, I'm not talking about like Walmart workers strike. I'm talking about everybody strikes. I mean, this would have to be a massive strike across all jobs. Like all minimum wage workers would have to walk out. And in order to get people to do that, that's rough. Like, how do you reach all those people? Because a lot of those people that are in jobs like that are, you know, they don't even know. They don't understand the amount of power that they have. That's the problem we have here. People don't understand how much power they have because they've given it to these people that are in charge. They think that they have all the power. They make all the decisions. And see, and I've said this before, but like, you don't wait around for somebody to show up and mow your lawn, right? Like, you don't do that. Okay, that's insane. That would be insane. Like, you're like, oh, well, somebody will do it eventually, right? Well, no, this is your yard, your community. You have to do this, you know. And if you don't do it, the grass gets high enough, and snakes move in. Snakes love tall grass to hide in. But the whole time you're just walking around through your yard and keep getting bit by all these snakes and saying, oh, well, somebody will take care of it eventually. We have to do this. We have to take back our own power. It's not going to be, because that's the thing I heard, you know, well, what are you going to do about it? Everybody wants to say that I'm crazy or silly, wasting my time. You know, it's, you know, a waste of time to try to take our power back. It's a waste of time because, you know, they have all the power and that, you know, somebody will figure it out eventually, just not me. Well, it won't be just me. It would be us, but, you know, it starts with all of us on an individual level going out there and doing stuff like this. The apathy and the bystander effect is like the biggest roadblock right now. How do you wake people out of that? And usually it takes something like somebody losing their health care or losing their job or something like that. I don't want people to have to wait around to be in a situation like us, you know, like in the state, because we're all heading down that road. You know, I know like California has a great economy right now and like some of these bigger cities like on the coast. But look at all the states that have turned red. And the reason those states have turned red is because the Democrats have screwed them over so hard. So all these new red states, yeah, they're feeling it. They're feeling this hurt. But at the same time, they keep them, you know, like in this bystander effect of like, well, I'm not in a position to do anything. That's somebody that's smarter than me or more educated, you know, or somebody with more power. It's like, no, it's you. It's you. I don't know. Y'all got any idea how to wake people up out of this? Because that's the biggest thing I got is the bystander effect. Water minimum wage increases. Now I think might have been Kevin that said this on After Hours, but they were talking about wage as a percentage. Like that's what because you know you're supposed to be that you're supposed to spend like a certain percentage of your income on housing, a certain percentage on like groceries, stuff like that. So whatever that percentage is, and you look in your area, you know, at the cost of all this stuff, and that's what your employer should pay you. And, like, that makes the most sense to me. Because that's, I mean, when you talk about numbers, then there's inflation and all this different stuff. And so, like, if you do something like that, that seems to be like, and you would be getting rid of, like, a lot of these, like, the safety nets. Like, if you did that, there wouldn't be, like, all these people on, trying to get food stamps or housing or. So that would really save us a lot of money in the long run. Because, see, like, here's the thing, like, from what I've heard, and just because, like, there's a lot of conservatives here, I understand, like, yeah, it is insane how many people are on, like, these safety net programs. But why? Like, why is there somebody that's working that's getting food stamps? You know what I mean? That's why. It's not like, oh, I lost my job, so now I got to go and get welfare. No, these are people that are working. These are people that are working, and they still have to go and get Medicaid. They still have to go and get food stamps. It's just like, wait a second, that's not our job. Like, that's your employer's job, Like, that should have been something that the government freaked out about. Like, why are you making us pay this? But they don't. And why is that? Oh, because they're all bought off by people that own Walmart and stuff like that. So don't care. It's not their money. It's whatever. Yes, I like your ideas, Trickle Up. I like it. Worker co-ops, I think, oh my gosh, I would love to see more worker co-ops. Because I watch Richard Wolff, and he's talked about that, and, it makes sense. That's another reason why the drug epidemic is so big here, is because he took people that, like people that worked in the mines, they took pride in their job because they were always telling them, basically, like, what you're doing is you're fueling America. You're giving these other people the energy that they need to run their businesses and to go to school and to have lights on in the classroom and all this stuff. So, like, they took a lot of pride in it, and it was such a dangerous job. And people would get hurt and they would die. And it's very, very similar to what you would see, a lot of the same rhetoric that you would see with, like, veterans, is how they talk about the miners. And so, and a lot of things that were similar, too, like, hey, you're standing next to the guy, and next thing you know, he's dead or injured. And, it messes you up. And a lot of these people have to rely on drugs or alcohol because, that's how you still function and go back to work. And when they took those people that had a job that they took so much pride in, and they fired them and made them work at McDonald's or Walmart, they lost meaning in their life. Like, they did. They took a job that they took nothing home, not even like wages. There was nothing that they took personal pride in. Like, okay, I flipped a few cheeseburgers, or I rung up somebody's pair of shoes today, but there's an automatic, cashier over here that is going to probably put me out of a job here in the next couple of years. So it's like they don't take any pride in it, and so you get depressed and you get angry, and then, you try to fill that void with more drugs and alcohol. So I would love to see worker co-ops take off. It would help with the drug problem. It would help with, and what he said was, Richard Wolff, was that, you're not going to vote to send your job overseas, You're not going to send your own job overseas. So not only would you have the pride in your job, but you would have more job security. And when you have that much responsibility, you want to see it flourish. You want to see it do better, so you put, like, more quality work into it instead of, like, half-assing it. You know what I mean? Wait, what? I missed something. Yeah. Yeah, at this point, it's like, well, okay, capitalism has not worked out the way that they're running it. It has not worked out. And And so, yeah, we need to find solutions, but everybody wants to say that everything's fine because that's what you need for capitalism to keep going is, if people start doubting it, stock prices go down. Even with just doubt, you make less money if people doubt your product. So they have to keep telling us that everything is fine. Just keep going to work. It's just you. It's not the system. It's just you lazy, poor person, just get a better job. Well, if everybody got better jobs, there wouldn't be people working at McDonald's and Walmart. So they don't really sit there and answer that one, but, nobody wants to talk about this, and it was so true. It's like, you cannot criticize capitalism whatsoever. And I don't know if these other ways of, society are the way to go, but I just know what's not working, and what we're doing now isn't working. And so worker co-ops and stuff like that seems like the best option. But then when you say stuff like that, you get called like, oh, well, economic terrorist, or you're just pissed because people have more than you. It's just like, no, I'm just pissed because there's people that have everything and people that have nothing. And I'm even willing to even set myself out of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. If I could, I would argue this stuff if that meant if I never even got a drop of the benefit. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why I quit getting food stamps. Because I was told that it makes you lazy, and I was told that it does all these things to you. And I mean, I really couldn't afford to go off of them, but I did because I wanted to fight for those people, and I didn't want to be accused of like just doing something for my own benefit. So yeah, I quit using it. And so that's just one less thing that they can hit me with. And the thing is like, out of all the times that I had to go down there and get food stamps or be reviewed or stuff, nobody asked me why I was poor. Nobody asked me how I ended up in that situation. Nobody said, okay, well, let's figure out a way to get you out of this, or, anything like that. It was just, well, here you go. Here's your food money. Do you qualify? Let's crunch the numbers. You do? Okay, well, here's your food money. It's like nobody ever stopped, like, hey, how do we stop this from happening? Like, this should be, like, serious, right? Like, somebody comes down and says, I don't have enough money to eat. That's a big freaking deal, okay? Like, that, they treat it like it's something like, meh, so you can't eat. Well, whatever, we'll take care of you. It's like, no, and when you see so many people pouring through your doors and saying, I can't eat all day long, something should go off in your brain and say, hey, maybe there's something not working here. Maybe it's not just a couple of people, a couple of bad apples that are lazy or just lost their job or whatever. Maybe there's something systemically wrong and broken here. But nobody ever asked that. Nobody ever does anything about it. It's just abandoned. It's abandoned. And by slapping a Band-Aid on it, it keeps these people that are taking it from ever asking how they end up in this situation. It keeps them from seeing how screwed up the situation is that they're in. It took me a long time to realize this. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even when I was growing up, off and on, every once in a while we'd have to go and, go to like a food bank or something. But most of the time, my grandma hated doing that, so she always found a way. I mean, she sold her car, she sold her air conditioner. I mean, she sold whatever she could. But just at some point, you just have to say, why is it? Why is it that there's so many people? And I never even stopped to think of it myself because I was just too busy, am I going to be able to eat? To notice that there's a room full of people just packed in here every single day trying to get food. It's crazy. And then you look at the prices for, your rent. Well, rent here isn't, I guess, as bad. as most places. Like, I was hearing some horror stories about out in California and New York. Jesus. I used to be in a shelter with this girl that lived in New York, and she said, like, her rent for, like, what is that called, where it's just, like, one giant room? Is it a studio apartment? But, yeah, $2,000. $2,000 for a room. A room. That was it. Just a room. There's no, I mean, why? Why would it ever cost that much money? And if it did, why were her wages so low? Nobody stops to think about it or question it. Wait, let's see some chat movement. Yeah. Chomsky interview? Okay, let me write this down okay, so I was going to look into, okay, so I told Rusty I'd look more into, like, illness and stuff like that, because I am just so undereducated on that. And I want to be able to, like, talk with you about this stuff. So, and then, let's see, Chomsky interview on RT. See, this is why I love the internet, and I get made fun of a lot because, like, I have a serious passion for the internet, because without it, I would never know about this stuff. I would never have these ideas. I'd never have this information. I mean, it's not like I can afford to go and buy books and do all this stuff. Man, this is, I fucking love the internet. Chomsky interview on RT, okay? Let me see. Hold on. I'm a slow reader. Yes. Oh, that is such a good point, Adrian. Like, yeah, that's what I mean, like, they want to sit there and they won't be afraid of, like, the terrorists, right? Which, in my neck of the woods, isn't a problem. You know who I see is people that are, like, really terrorists, or, like, these politicians that are stealing from people and killing people, basically, for their donors. Like, what? I think that there's so much, there's more politicians that have killed people in my state than any terrorist group. So that's why I focus on that. Okay, that's the main cause of death here. You know what I'm saying? Newest one. Okay, the newest one. Okay. Who's the interview with? And so this is about talking about people, like, around here, because, you know, they've bought into this so much that they think that, and these are themselves, people like them, people like, you know, their own family, and they just repeat this stuff, and they don't even really realize, like, they talk about, like, people get food stamps, they're all just welfare queens, and, you know, people that do this or that, and they're, my sister got made fun of. They called her a moocher. One of her coworkers at Kmart called her a moocher because she had insurance to the state. Okay, she was working. Okay, she was doing all this stuff. She was going to school at the same time with a brand new baby. And her coworker called her a moocher. It's like, you're in the same damn boat. you're in the same damn boat. And it turns out that woman was stealing money out of the cash register, and she got fired. But, so it's like, really, who's the moocher now? But, you know, like, they just repeat this stuff, and I'm just like, okay, so I see that you don't want money wasted on, like, you see that there's money being wasted on safety nets, okay. So wouldn't the best way to fix that be to get people into jobs? Well, maybe if we gave these people jobs, you know, maybe they wouldn't be on food stamps. And so, like, that seems to be, like, a way that I've been able to talk to people and kind of, like, get this, like, dialogue going, because, like, if I just come at them with, like, you know, like, these crazy, you know, like, left-wing ideas that, you know, it's like an automatic shutdown. Once you put labels on it, it's like, okay, now you're being shut down. But, like, if you talk to them about policy and you find out, like, what is it that is bothering them, and say, okay, well, let's find a solution. This isn't working. Let's try something new. Here's my idea. You know, here's some ideas I've heard. Let's figure it out. I try not to make it about, you know, like, left or right, or even though, like, sometimes it's just like, I don't know how else to describe it, you know. I've been doing this a couple of years, but, you know, I spend a lot of my time, like, having to survive, so it's just like I spend most of my life, like, doing stuff like this, like, connecting with other people and trying to figure it out. So I'm just really glad that y'all are here and just throwing information at me. Oh, Dave, you're here. Oh, yes. Yeah, same here. There's no air conditioning down here, but it's going on upstairs. My son's in the living room. He's got the air conditioner on him. Yeah, it's hella hot down here. I missed you. Oh, God, you've been here for a while. Oh, good. Oh, yeah. On contact. Okay. Yeah, studio. Okay. 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 So last night in Sweden. Okay. Holy crap. Yeah, I was trying to get caught up on the text really fast. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. I think that Kevin, was it you, Kevin, that brought that up about how it should be based on a percentage of, like, um, what you're supposed to be buying? Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, without the text later, it's going to be like, what is, it's just some, okay. Yeah, okay. Independent outsider. Yeah. He said that when you respond to a comment, mention the person and what they said so we can go back to the video later for context. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm just, like, having a conversation, and I'm just like, I'm not even thinking about, like, looking at it later, because, you know, I try not to watch my videos unless I got to edit them. You know, nobody likes the sound of their own voice. Okay. Okay, that was Kevin that said that. Yeah. And that's the pattern. But I have a team that's like, okay, so you bump everybody, but that's what we've been doing, right? Well, kind of. Is, you know, we give people a little bit of a price increase, but then the inflation swamps that up to where you get no benefit from it. So yeah, it needs to be, you need to have that purchasing power, like, guaranteed. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Um, I didn't get the whiteboard. Independent outsider wanted to know how much my whiteboard cost, and I didn't get this one. It was actually a gift from my son. It was like a whiteboard and chalkboard easel from IKEA. I think my aunt got it for him, but he never uses it, so I just kind of borrowed it from him. So if she got it from IKEA, I'm sure it was probably like $12 or something, something cheap. Yeah. Or like a cheap alternative to whiteboards is if you have like if you can go like maybe like Goodwill or something, you can find like old mirrors. Mirrors are good whiteboards, or if like you have an old like photo frame or whatever, just put a piece of white paper behind it and use that. Pretty much anything can work as a whiteboard. Okay, my phone's getting super dry. Okay, I'm gonna have to like give me like 1 minute. I'm gonna go grab a drink and I'm gonna be right back. Like seriously, like just 1 minute. All right, I'm back, but I'm gonna like just kind of like stand up and stretch a little bit. I got scoliosis. My back is super screwed up, and I've been sitting here forever. So I'm here. We'll still talk, but I'm just gonna go off camera for a little bit. All right, I'm gonna read the get caught up on the chat here. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go. Just gotta scroll back up. Hold on. Okay, there's a healthy balance. Okay, so Rusty said there's a healthy balance. Oftentimes, Chicago teachers want 100% national average and 0% students have 0.3 for that testing. Um, okay. I haven't heard about any of this. let me see. Yeah, I'm totally, this school system is totally screwed up. I mean, everything, just about everything about it is, their whole approach is wrong. The stuff that they teach is wrong. You know, like the whole system of the way that we teach children is, okay, kids like to have fun. Well, adults like to have fun. It's human nature, right? You know, so what would be the best way to teach kids is to have fun. Same way with an adult. Like, if I want to learn something, I have to make like a little game out of it, you know? I mean, that's how my grandma taught me. She made up these little games, and that's why, like, that I tested above my grade level up until the point where it stopped being fun, and I quit doing it when it just became about the grades. You know, when she was helping me, man, I mean, I'm serious. I would go, like, 2 grades above me and help tutor those kids. But it quit being fun, and I quit trying. And then when I started stressing out about grades, I remember having a nervous breakdown in the 7th grade, crying and saying that I was just going to be, you know, poor white trash living in a trailer the rest of my life. And it really wasn't that wrong, but not for lack of trying. So yeah, I mean, like, no 12-year-old should be like that stressed out about making an A. You know, like, they should be wanting to learn the subject instead of just, you know, it's just not everybody knows this. Like, it's just not. It's not a good way to learn. If you can just, you know, repeat something back to somebody. Well, if I wanted to do that, I could just use the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I could just have a book. Why do I have to learn all this if all I'm doing is just like repeating something back? I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, people would ask, why can't I just use a calculator? Because screw you, that's why. Just do it. I mean, you just gotta just learn it. Like, in real life, you'd be able to use a calculator or something like that. You know, like, we don't teach kids the right way. We don't teach kids to use resources. We don't teach them to do stuff like that. We just recite this crap recitation, you know. And if you can focus and do that, then sure. But if you're a kid and you have to go home and your mom's not there because she's at some dead-end job and you don't have food and you know, I mean, like, I remember at a very early age, I was very aware of how broke we were. Like, I would always get complimented when I was a kid about how I would never ask for anything, but that was because I didn't want to be any further of a burden to anybody. Because I knew, like, if I asked for, you know, to go on a field trip, if I brought permission slips home for field trips, that would mean that my mom and my grandma would sell their jewelry, or they would sell the TV, or they would sell things, or we would go without something so that I could have that. And I didn't want to put that on them, so I would just throw that away before I went home. You know, that's the kind of stress that you put on kids when they live in poverty. And, I mean, even if you try to keep them from stuff like that, you know, you can't. Kids are smart. Kids are very, very smart. And they know when something's up. And they know when you know, their family's hurting. You can't hide that. And yeah, so of course kids that are in poor schools are, you know, they do worse. And then you tie on to that the fact that, like, you know, well, if you live in a poor neighborhood, you don't have this, you know, as much money to spend on your schools. How does that make any sense at all? Okay, so because the property value is low over here, your kid gets a shitty education? But what sense does that make? It doesn't. But, hold on. I know there's Paula Jean Swearingen that's running here, and she wants to get rid of that. She wants to do it to where all the schools are funded equally, you know, because it shouldn't matter if you live in a rich neighborhood. Why do those kids get a better education? You know, shouldn't all the kids get the same education. I mean, we get the same standardized testing, right? But you give some kids fewer resources to work with, and you expect them to achieve the same amount that these other kids. It doesn't make any sense. But it doesn't have to make any sense because, school for people. Yeah, and that's, I mean, okay. I used to, when I was down there, I was taking care of my grandma. She used to like watching like Steve Harvey and Ellen, because she was old and that's what old people do. And so I'd watch it with her. And like Ellen, I was like, oh, that's so nice. They're doing this for this school or that school. But here's the thing. Why are our schools in such terrible conditions where they need to be rescued by some philanthropic, wealthy person? Why is that? We have to give them the money because we don't know how to take care of ourselves. We have to give it to them, and they'll bestow upon us the charity as they see fit. Like that. Oh God, that rubs me the wrong way. Like it burns me up when I think about that. It's just like, well, they just have these little, what's that called in the Hunger Games? Little packages that they drop. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's just like, oh, well, you amuse me. I'll give you $1 million for your school. Or, hey, I need some PR. Here's another $1 million for your school. It's bullshit. And like I saw a quote one time. It's basically, you can't judge. You can't put a bird next to a fish and judge it on its ability to swim. Like a bird is good at flying, and of course, it's going to fail at swimming, and of course, a fish is going to fail at flying. But you've got to see what they're good at and say, hey, like that's your thing. Let's encourage that. Let's put our resources into like making that your area of expertise. But then, like, you tell kids at, like, such an early age, like, you better figure out what you want to be. But you never let them get a chance to ever get to pursue anything. Like, how do they even know what's out there that they're good at? They never even get. Independent outsider, he said, what about ducks? Yeah, screw ducks. We're not even talking about ducks, okay? Nobody cares about ducks. What about the orcas? I don't know. From after hours last night, apparently orcas are like terrible. Like they're like the jerks of the ocean. They just kill stuff and just leave it out to die. They don't even eat it. That's right. Kevin says, the only way to win a war with people attacking you is to fight back with everything at your disposal. And that's why they're attacking like the internet and stuff right now. That's why they attack the language. They attack all these different things because they know what are our resources. We don't have money, but we still have our minds, right? That's the one thing that we still have. And how can they ruin that? How can they corrupt that? They try to pollute it with media. They try to pollute it with like propaganda and by keeping your mind busy on these other things. They're trying to shut it down like the internet to where you can't even access these ideas or these resources. They put it behind a paywall. Oh, okay. Oh, thanks, Rusty. Um, yeah, you're a cool guy. I mean, you got to respect Rusty Shackelford. You got to. Exactly. Independent outsider. He said, I expose their BS with information. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing is because the media here in West Virginia is garbage. there's some good people out there that do some good work. I met them at the Bernie rally, the healthcare rally, like Holler from the Hollers, and I think another one's Appalachian Voices. But as far as like YouTube goes, not Dusty. But like as far as YouTube goes, man, like there's nothing. Like there's no like news shows. And I know like I struggle a lot with like just finding the time to sit down and just read articles. So that's why I want to take like some of those articles that they do and like do some news stories on them, or call out some of the BS that gets a lot of the attention. Like, okay, let me tell you how undereducated or misinformed people are here. I actually read this in the newspaper. It's under the rants and raves, and it was most people in West Virginia are allergic to marijuana, and it's not a natural plant to West Virginia, and that we should make it illegal because people are allergic to it. Are you kidding me? That information is out there. I'm like, I want to track down this person and I want to know what in the world where do they get their information from? How do you even get how do you get something like that you think is a fact? Where did that come from? Like what kind of world do they live in? Where do they get their news from? Because I just want to go like, oh, hun, no, there's so many things wrong with that sentence. Like, let me just start at the beginning. Like, it would take me 20 minutes to undo that sentence. Like, shit, like, yeah. Most of us would have been, like, dead in our teens or early 20s. But there's so many people out there like this that they're misinformed or they're uninformed. And there's a lot of people that read the newspaper or they watch the news every night and they think that they are up to date with the information. And the only thing local news is good for these days is covering car wrecks. Like that, there's a serious gap. Yeah, well, I would say that I went to the doctor, hold on. Let me see if I got this right. Okay, so I went to the doctor, and I may or may not have tested positive for marijuana. And my doctor, and I'm like freaking out because, like basically if you fail a drug test, you don't get medicine. Like they put you on this thing, and it's just like, well, let's get you. I mean, like it was like failing a test. I mean, well, I did fail a test, so like, it's like, oh my God, I like panic, right? So, but my doctor was chill as could be about this. He's like, I don't care. There's nothing wrong with it. It probably is doing wonders for you, but like he's a PA, and like the doctor there was like a hard ass about it, and he's like, just stop, and just pass it next time. And he was just so cool about it. He's like, I personally don't care. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I'm just a terrible, irresponsible person, blah, blah, blah. And and he's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Like, he had to, like, talk me down, I don't know. I don't know why they do it. They do it to everybody there, but they just, it's a psychiatrist, and that's one of the deals is like, they even have posted up in the lobby, like several places. It's like, if you fail a drug test, we won't see you as a patient. And like, I mean, they put the fear of God in you over this. It's just like, okay, over weed? Like, really? You're going to cut me off from like psychiatric? I mean, like, I go there because, like, I have a history of, like, drug addiction and stuff like that. So, like, yeah, like, I get it. But are you going to cut somebody off from, like if a person came in there and was schizophrenic and they were smoking weed, are you going to cut them off from their schizophrenia medicine because they smoke some weed? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, for real. It's like, like, your life is garbage. Like, you're making minimum wage. You have nothing. It's like, just, can we just smoke a little bit of weed so we just don't, like, just sink into, like, this awful depression? And plus, it's like, that's my body. They talk about, just, the hypocrisy of the people here is just through the roof. Because, like, they want to lecture us about all these regulations and how terrible they are. And at the same time, they want to regulate drugs. They want to regulate your body when it comes to what drugs you can use, what drugs are okay, what drugs are bad. Let me tell you, the drugs that are bad are the ones they don't profit off of. It's just, they want to regulate our cars. Like, we got to get an inspection sticker. There's so much that they want to regulate. And regulation is just another word for safety. So, like, if you want to be safe, like, I get it. But, like, this isn't about safety. Nobody ever OD'd on marijuana. Yeah. Yeah, I think, Walmart does test you. Walmart, Dollar General tests you. And that's why, like, I quit. Like, because, that's the other problem with the unemployment here is half the people can't pass a drug test. There's very few jobs, and the few jobs we have, you got to be able to pass a drug test. And, like, when you're living in West Virginia, it's like you got to find a way to live here and still stay sane. Oh, yeah. I remember seeing one. It was, uh, yeah, Kevin said the regulation we have now is ass backwards, and yes, it is. It's all about regulating us, and the businesses get no regulation whatsoever. Independent Outsiders said some HIV meds have been held back for decades because it was not profitable. Now, I saw an article, and it was about, I think it was something for hepatitis for these veterans, but the drug itself was like, it was like something like $250,000. So, like, all these vets were like dying, and they couldn't get access to something that would cure them. Oh, it isn't. Everybody, okay, they did a bunch of town halls, like, I don't know, beginning of the year, into last year, and every single person, several times, like, there were every single one of these politicians got a question about when are you going to legalize it. People here know that it would be good for the economy. They know, that it's ridiculous. They know that their kids and their families and their husbands and wives are killing themselves on opiates and all this other stuff, and they can't find a job, and marijuana seems like it would be a great thing to bring here, especially when they want to push tourism so much, but yet they don't. They don't. There are very obvious things that they have done or they choose not to do, even though it would help our state, and they have no excuse for it. They can't. I asked Jim Justice about the minimum wage, and he said, well, I don't know if you should be making $15 an hour. We might lead to job loss or something. He's a billionaire. He thinks $15 is too much money, but he's totally okay with making billions of dollars. Like, he must be really conflicted about that, like, oh, yeah, like, he must feel terrible about what he's doing to the economy, but him making billions, it's like the hypocrisy of that. Like, how can you, I just can't imagine having billions of dollars and just looking at somebody and saying, yeah, I don't know if you're worth $15. I don't know. Like, I just don't think I could muster the amount of, like, nerve it would take. Yeah. Yeah, Jim Justice is the richest man in West Virginia. Um, yeah, and that's the thing, Jeremy. Jeremy said cultivation is a human right. And you know what? That's the thing. When they passed the medical marijuana, or I wouldn't even consider that a win. Nobody here does. You know, they regulated it so much. You can't even grow your own marijuana. You still have to go to a pharmacy or wherever it is that you have to go and pay somebody else to get it. Yeah, I don't know the exact statistics. I know that they said it was still harmful to like a teenager's brain. So I don't know if like 18 would be good. But yeah, I mean 21. There should definitely by 21 you should be able to. And for that matter, we should make that the age for enlistment. Because if you can't have a beer before you leave, you don't have any business going to war. Hmm. Ooh, this is yeah. Uh, Trickle Up said independent. I kind of disagree. While marijuana should be 21, I think alcohol should drop to 16. And I don't know. But I don't know the statistics on that. I just know that like I don't know. I worry about kids. I do. I know I've made a lot of stupid decisions, and I don't. You know, a lot of people make stupid decisions at that age. So I don't know. I kind of like. I think 21 is about the time when you start coming out of it. You know. All right. Huh. Feel like he. Oh my gosh, there's just information. I love this information out there. Uh, an independent outsider said 86 when Virginia. Okay, what it says. The drunk driving deaths have decreased since the drinking age rose, believe it or not, in 1986 when Virginia drinking age rose to 21. Um, yeah, 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 yeah. That's what Trickle Up was saying. He says, I know that marijuana has some detrimental effects for underage brains. Totally fine after 21, though. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I mean, I'm like so. I worry about children's brains, which is why, like, when I went to the Clay Center and I saw that they were pushing that propaganda down there, I freaked out because, like, young moms are so. If you get them when they're young, you know, if you can get them, I mean, like that's I can turn my camera back on. Yeah, that's like the danger and stuff with like some of this like indoctrination, like you see with like religion and stuff, because you teach it to kids at an early age, so like it's so normal to them, and when they start pushing their propaganda at such an early age, it becomes normal to them. Like it's so, I mean, like think about all the stuff that you didn't even question because like you just kind of grew up in it or around it, you know. So like I try to watch out for those things in particular and try to protect like these little kids' brains, you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I'll just do my screen share if I find it. Okay. Yeah, and I think it might have been AJ Plus or one of those um, news places that they just did a piece on like the propaganda of the fossil fuel industry and how they go into all these classrooms. And see, I thought it was just like a local thing, like here in like an Appalachian thing where they go and teach them about how wonderful coal is and how clean coal is. And you know, they don't ever tell them about, you know, they don't show them, you know, they show them the pictures of, you know, they take them to these facilities and show them all the cool, like, machines and stuff, but they don't ever show them the pictures of the guys crushed up against the wall from a runaway mine cart or the guy that lost his legs because they got cut off. They don't show them, you know, the crushed up, mangled bodies of miners that got exploded from the upper Big Branch. They don't show them that stuff. You know, they just show him the fun little cute stuffed animal dog, you know, the cool buddy that everybody gets, you know. That's not that we should be showing children pictures of mangled up bodies, but you know what I mean. I gotta find that. Okay, let me see if I can do screen share here. Okay. My tech abilities are very slow. There we go. That's one of the fun new things at our museum is the STEAM Lab from TransCanada, the same people that brought you Dakota Access Pipeline. It is craziest stuff that they get by with. Let me see. I mean, there's so much more. All the fun new ATMs that were also there. Work, dang it. Yeah, these were like the little ATMs, and kids could go around and get their clipboard, go around and do these jobs. There's like a little phone out of town. You go around to each place. There's a health clinic. There's a construction site. There was a grocery store, a food place like a diner. You know, oh, and Appalachian Energy Store because you know. That makes sense. And you can go around doing all these jobs, and then when you get done, you get to go over to this little ATM, and you put in your name and your birthday, and then you can type in the jobs that you did. And you can earn money in your bank account. I mean, so gross what they do here. I don't know how they get by with this stuff. I'm going to see if I can find any more. Oh, and the Brick Street. Oh, Brick Street. Yeah, Brick Street had signs everywhere. It was BB&T, United, but Brick Street, I mean, let me see if I can bring this up. Let's see, application, window, this one, okay. Yeah, you see the Appalachian Power Store behind it. See all the Brick Street signs. There's a little vet clinic there. There's the construction site beside the Appalachian Power. And even on the where you see like the brick area, there was signs for Brick Street there. You see, look, here's another advertisement, Grady Greenspace. He's another like wealthy like politician or lobbyist or something. Even the books there were about, saving your money and stuff like that, like very pro-energy, pro-banking, things like that. Oh, where was the other one? There was another one that was just, like, gross. Where is it? And the stuff they used to have there was, like, stuff that would make you think. It was, like, sciencey and, it was like seeing how things work together. It was all about like fun, like play, imaginative. And this is just like pretend that you're already working at your dead-end job. That's basically what it was. Just already pretend that you're working at Walmart. Go ahead and pretend that you're working. This is what you're allowed to spend your imagination on. You can't have that imagination going wild and thinking up ideas and stuff. Yeah, so gross. Oh, where is that? It was so good. It was such a good. It basically summed up everything. If I can find it. There it is. And there was a little theater place there too. And dang it, go come back. Capitol Theater. I mean, they're just rubbing our faces in it. It's just. Yeah, that's all it is. It's a big play. It's a big play that they put on. It's all a stage show, and it's all just to keep us thinking that this is what it is, when in all actuality, they've already got it figured out. You see, like, they picked the little fight as the governor, and he's a Democrat, and he picked this fight with this guy named Ryan Ferns. He's a Republican, and they were butting heads, and they're trying to make it to where it's like, oh, well, it's Republicans versus Democrats, keeping us divided. And it's like, that is nothing at all what it is. It's corporations versus average people. And they're all on the same side. That's why I said, they've already figured that they're going to fuck us. They want to know what position it's in. And then that's what they're fighting about. It has nothing to do with politics. So maybe some people are, fighting for the pharmaceutical industry, and some of them are fighting more for coal. But either way, they already know who's going to pay the price. They're just fighting over who's going to get the spoils. And it's all a show, every single bit of it. And this is the stuff that they cram into our kids' brains, This is what they don't think, they don't know. And this was on a field trip that I found this out about. It was with the school. Now, the school made me go. They said I had to go. But then I had to pay money that I didn't have to go and get into the Clay Center to take my kid to this propaganda festival. And then there were all these other schools there too, because they had to make sure all the kids got their dose, right? The people that run the place there, the people that are in charge of it, also do work with the Chemical Alliance Valley, or Chemical Alliance Zone. And but Aldo Tomlin, he works on the board of the Clay Center. And, we all know how Governor Tomlin was when it came down to the chemical spill that was here. He met with the industry first. He didn't meet with the people. He didn't meet with anybody, like any of these people that are scientists or anything, doctors. Oh, hey, how do we prevent people from getting sick? He met with the industry. He met with them behind closed doors, and he's even signed. There's a picture with him with this Chemical Alliance group. A picture with him signed by Governor Tomlin. He said, your friend, Governor Earl Ray Tomlin. Well, yeah, he's your friend. Of course he's your friend. He's not our friend. I mean, and there was people that were on the board of like these fossil fuels. That was the gas pipeline people, oil, coal, and these are all outsiders, right? And this is why West Virginia has this thing about we don't like outsiders. We don't like people from out of the state, because this is what happens. They come in and they fuck us. Just like the people, there's people like Don Blankenship that born and raised here, and he's on their side too. So it's not just an outsider thing, But that's what they want people to think. It's just the outside people. Jim Justice is good because he's from West Virginia, and Don Blankenship is good because he's from West Virginia. And it's not. They're all terrible because they are all bought. And if you want to have like a rage, if you want to like induce a rage within yourself, go check out Don Blankenship's Twitter. Oh yeah, because he's out of jail and he's tweeting up a storm about how he was wrongly accused, and it was a natural gas explosion, and there was just nothing that anybody could have done about it, and all those miners didn't die. He didn't murder them. It was just a whoopsie, a freak accident of nature. But he also said that, like, Asia has all this problem with pollution, so his solution was to bring some of those jobs back over here. So basically his solution was spread out the pollution back to America, bring the pollution back home. I mean, like, if you get past all the coal stuff about him, like, bitching and whining about his 1-year prison stint for murdering 30 people, 29 people, like, when he starts talking about, like, how California is, like, has the most pollution, yet, there's no coal there. So, obviously, coal, it can't pollute. Like, the guy is, his environmental tweets, you have to laugh at him because it's just so bad. It's just so bad. Like, I want to, one day I'm going to do this. I'm going to, do his tweets one day. We're just going to, live roast him because it is so bad. Yeah, Trickle Up said the problem the people getting screwed don't want to acknowledge it. Yeah, because what they see is they see somebody that has all the power, and they can't cope with it because they don't think they can do anything about it. So they find a Mexican, or they find, you know, a poor person, and they say, oh, well, it's obviously them. It's the immigrant. It's the poor person. It's them. It's just something that, like, they can just focus on them, and they can feel better about the situation, but still, like, not do anything about it, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Savings, like what? Yeah, Trickle Up said they need to be forcibly reminded that they are the 70% with less than $1,000 in savings. And see, my aunt, I love her, okay? She is a wonderful, compassionate, she's a nurse. She busted her ass all her life. She put herself through school and done all this stuff. And she grew up poorer than I did. Her dad was a coal miner, and, you know, he would drink. And so a lot of times, like, he would go on these vendors, and he wouldn't even be there, and they were there with no money, no nothing. And my grandma would have to figure something out. And so she grew up very, very poor. They all did. And yet, when she gets money, she starts sending out stuff on Facebook. She said it was a picture, and it said a picture of a middle-class person's fridge, and it had, like, a bottle of ketchup in it. And then there was, like, a picture of, and it said a picture of somebody on food stamps. It was, like, packed full. And it was just, like, you know, junk food and all this stuff, you know, just pouring out of the fridge. And I'm like, she knew at that time I was on food stamps. And I'm like, how can you say that? How can you say that? You have been there. You have done this. How can you sit there and judge these people? And I threw some stats at her, and I was like, you know, well, you know that this much of the money goes towards, you know, corporate welfare, and this much of the money goes to people, you know, on welfare. And she was like, well, it was just a meme. Well, yeah, you think it's just a meme, but that, you know, there's people out there, and, you know, you might think that she still tweeted it. She knew it was wrong, but it's like, why would you still do that? I mean, like, but she didn't, like, she was so uncomfortable with that fact. And, like, and she sits there and she says, well, I can't afford anything, even though she makes pretty good money. And I'm sorry, Gina, if you're watching this, I love you. But she makes a good bit of money. But once you get that money, it's like, I need more money, right? And she's got these houses that are, you know, or she rents in these apartments that are wildly more expensive than what she can afford. You know, she should get a cheaper apartment, or she should get a cheaper car, one that doesn't have, like, you know, video cameras, and maybe buy a used car. You know, I love her, but she spends her money bad. And then she sits back and she says, I'm so broke, and then she hates poor people because they get food stamps. And it's just like, she's in the capitalistic, you know, cycle of just, I need more. And that's, yes, money is a drug. Money is a drug. I say that all the time about these politicians. I see the signs of addiction. You know, like, you do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. You do stuff that doesn't make sense. You don't think about the consequences of tomorrow. Just as long as you get that fix for today, you get that donor money today, you know. And it's just like, you got to stop, and you got to think, whoa, you know, but you can't when you're in that cycle of addiction, you know. Yeah. Oh, no, Kevin, I missed it. I'm sorry. I started talking, and I just totally missed it. Let me see. Hold on. Let me scroll back up. I'm sorry. Let me see. Let me go back up. It says message retracted. Okay, it's back up. Okay. Saving money is one thing living in a country. Okay, so Kevin says, saving money is one thing living in a country where half the country is poor. Saving isn't a primary concern. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've done that, and Adrian said that, any attempts at saving money are futile as wage slaves. I've done that before, and I've saved back money, but then as soon as you set it back, you have to dip into it and spend it again because something breaks or something, a bill comes up, something. They raise prices. I mean, they're, as soon as they know that you got that money there, they're going to be there to wipe it back out. Okay, and then I think I'm getting to your comment there, Kevin. If it's farther back up, just let me know. But Independent Outsider said, you want to know how many independent local businesses are in West Virginia, and that he noticed very few, mostly Taco Bell. Yeah, let me tell you about that, because I've seen, I don't know how many businesses get wiped out, all the way, I say within a 50-mile stretch. Now, I live here in the capital city, so this is probably where people are doing probably better than it would be in, like, some of these more rural areas. But I've watched businesses, independent, businesses, family-owned, like generations go wiped out. After that housing crisis, restaurants were the first thing to go. I mean, like Eppling's and like all these different ones. I mean, 50 years or more in business, and they all closed down within a few years. Like all these different grocery stores, like hardware stores, like Lowe's put a lot of these hardware stores out of business. Walmart put these, like farmers markets and stuff like that out of business. I mean, the independent business owner here has been crushed, absolutely crushed by these big box stores, And that's what the people need to be. They need to be better educated on the power of the way they spend their money. Because, yeah, you can go to Walmart and spend that money, but you're feeding the beast, and we got to starve it. And it's so sad. They all own the bookstores. Oh, my God, there were some bookstores here that were so good. There's one independent bookstore left, and it's Taylor's, and it's down there, like, in the gentrified area of Charleston. Yeah. It's really awful. I just feel so bad for these people. I know, I can't imagine, like, sinking all this money and time and, like, just a generation, like, it's been in the family, and then having to close your doors. Yeah, that's another good point, Adrian. He said that, people don't feel the pain because they use credit cards. Yeah. Delayed paying. But all that's doing is taking more money out of it's not just you. It's not just you and your paycheck. You're taking money away from these people. Can't save up money to get their kids' education. Those kids have to pay for it, and those kids can't afford it because those kids are locked into the same system. I'm getting that, Kevin, I swear. Wait, it says message retracted, and it says that's one of the only things that's left at people's disposal. Yeah, wake them up. Oh, Adam's responses. Oh, yes, I would love to see some responses. Let me write this down. I don't want to forget this stuff. Oh, there it is. Okay. 70 to 50% of. Yeah, I like to have a retirement. I mean, that's fucking terrifying. I try not to think about it because what am I going to do about it? Just like, I think about like retirement. Retirement from what? Like, I can't even find a job to retire from, like, and I'm thinking, okay, I live in a state where the average life expectancy is like 60, well, it's like 65, and it's just like, I will die before I ever get a job, like, in less than a year, I should be starting my midlife crisis, and I don't have any money saved up for like a fancy sports car. Like I'm woefully behind. Oh, Kevin, can you please? Oh, okay, thank you. You reposted it. Okay, thank you. The only way to win a war with people attacking you is to fight back. With everything, yeah. But see, that's why I'm trying to like, I want to write down all this stuff because this is what we have to do. We have to attack with everything, and we have to attack at all sides. We can't just pick one thing and go with it. You know, it has to be like this. Oh, I'm 29. Yeah, my birthday's coming up in October, so. And I gotta be real, like, I don't take the best care of myself, you know, so, like, and I live in Canticle Valley, I live in coal country, so, I might get to be, like, I don't know, 50. I'd say 50. I might do 50. But cancer here has been killing everybody. It's not shut up, Kevin. See, are you on my Twitter? Can you send it to me on Twitter? Because if you've got solutions, I totally want to hear them. It keeps saying message retract. Oh, there it is. It's showing up now. Okay, I got you. I don't know why it was like just, like, there was like a whole chunk of it. Maybe I scrolled past it. All right, Kevin said, in my opinion, to resolving the current shithole of the country with rotten to the core liars lording over us is a few-stage approach. Bear with me. We need to form groups of friends and organize. Gotcha. Use those groups to pull resources to create an active presence in areas to grow ranks around needed policy. Yep. Community support groups also need to be constructed to divert people from falling prey to economic traps so the numbers of U.S. dollar power can be used as a weapon. Yes. Damn it, Kevin. I love it. All right. So community gardens, community construction, community land purchase, etc. You're on fire. All right. The only way to win a war with people attacking you is to fight back with everything at your disposal. Yes. Why are we limiting ourselves? Why are we limiting ourselves to just, well, and that's another thing. Like we discredit each other's attempts, you know, and it's not one thing. It's not one solution. It's all these things. We got to just blindside them on all fronts. It is our money, it is our time, it is our work that they use against us. We got to stop giving to them. I think you said in the background there, it's like, you know, fuck it. I'll just start my own government with hookers and blackjack, you know? Like, I'll just start my own government with, you know, democracy and freedom. You know, like why are we still looking to them for answers? We need to start taking care of our communities. When we start doing that, we get these people out of the system that they're in. It's got to start at a community level. We got to start getting people out there and see, like, my thing, I'm terrible at gardening. Everything, I literally killed a bamboo plant. How do you kill? Bamboo is like impossible to kill. I touched it, I killed it. I kill everything that is like plants. So that's not my thing. But guess what? My neighbor is a fantastic gardener. So if you got somebody like him gardening, and you got somebody like me doing whatever, killing weeds maybe, like we could do something like this. This is amazing. See, like this is what we need. We need like positive Sundays, you know, like where we can just come together and talk about this stuff. Like I feel like during the week, like we talk about the news, and I do like to talk about the news because, you know, it's important to know what's going on. But at the same time, like we gotta figure out something. We gotta figure out a plan. I like this. Well, you know, it helps independent that you're not in West Virginia. So if you lived here, like, your odds wouldn't be too good. But, you know, I think you might you might have slightly better odds somewhere else. Oh, God, that's so great. I'm so glad thank you for posting all like that. I don't know. Uh, Honestly, and you know what? I followed the like the gubernatorial race here like pretty closely, and it wasn't until like a couple weeks before election that I even found out that we had a Green Party here. Now they call themselves the Mountain Party, but they're like an extension of the Green Party. Is green is such a controversial word here because they hear that and they think you're a tree hugging hippie and you want to take my job away. So like now we're the Mountain Party, and yeah, she was a great candidate, but she wasn't very vocal. She wasn't, she didn't really get out there. Like Paula Jean, she's in your face with it, like she's unapologetic. She won't shut up. She's challenging Joe Manchin. She challenges anybody that wants to poison people. But it's just like, where are they? Like right now, where are they? There's all these, coal slurry spills, like all the time, chemical spills, the unemployment. This is the time for them to come in and say, hey, I got an idea. But they're not. They have no community outreach. There's some good people here that do a lot of good work. Like Paula Jean was one of them. And I believe her name is Maria Gunnoe, Gunnoe. Now, she's been doing work here since, I think back, as far back as maybe the 90s. I don't know. Maybe even, I don't know. She's been doing it since, I remember seeing documentaries and stuff, here and there, like bits of news articles, and she would be there. You'd see her fighting against mountaintop removal. You'd see her fighting against all these coal companies and stuff. I mean, she's taken a lot of shit over the years. And she's from Boone County, which is like one of the big, coal people, like coal counties. And she had to put a fence up around Kizar because of the death threats and stuff. Because she was talking about people's jobs, like when that's what they took it as, is like, oh, well, you care more about trees than you do about my job. So, yeah, she got a lot of death threats. And now it's starting to be, more acceptable here. But back in those days, oh, man, it was bad. I got so much respect for her because she did it. See, I can do this from my own home. People are more open to it. But she had to get out there and on the front lines and do this stuff, man. I got respect for her. And you know what? I actually talked to her the other day. I was like, you know what? I got questions, so why not reach out, because I've noticed, I've talked about it before, all these trees are dying. They look like they're just rotting. They're just falling apart. And there's all these, lichens growing out all over it. And so I started the pictures of the trees and stuff, and she put me in contact with this guy that graduated from University of Tennessee that specializes in, forestry and stuff. And he said that, lichens are a way of, cleaning the air. So, and I looked at, what the air quality is here. It's a D rating, a D. There's, 70-some% of the days here, the air's not fit to breathe. And my son has a cough. I kept talking to the doctor about this. If he's got this cough, he can't get rid of it. It comes and goes. He has trouble. He'll have these outbursts at school of he doesn't listen, and it's just just behavioral issues. And I'm just you're a good kid. What happened? Yesterday you're okay, and then today you're losing your mind. I don't get it. And there's lead and arsenic in our air. Our soil is full of heavy metals, same lead and arsenic. And it all comes back to the coal companies. Our streams are polluted with it. Our water's polluted with it. Our drinking water. They just had to shut down the town next to mine. They had to shut down their drinking water because of a coal slurry spill. Everything, it was just black. Just black. They had to shut it down. I didn't know about it. And you know how much research I do into this, and you know how much time I spend learning about this stuff, and yet this goes right by, and I don't even notice it in my backyard. It's scary. It's scary. And his dad was wanting to take him out and let him play in the creek. I was like, you can't do that. He'll come back with his third arm or something. God. I mean, how does this stuff happen? You know, and they threw a big fit about that MCHM spill that happened here a few years ago. Oh, the water's not safe to drink. Yet they still spill that into our water, and they don't even tell us. They don't even tell us. They still use it. They still don't know what's going on with it. Oh, God. I can't. Every time I go outside, I can't breathe. I feel like I can't breathe. I can't do anything here. It's just, every time I take a breath, I'm like, that's a little bit more cancer. A little bit more cancer. You know, just. And it's not like me being crazy, because there are people here dropping like flies from cancer. You got people dying from lung cancer that never smoked a day in their life, never went to the mines, nothing like that. Just lung cancer. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? My aunt wanted me to move down to North Carolina, you know, where they just poisoned their water with the cancer-causing chemical from DuPont, you know, the Teflon stuff. Can't move there. I mean, you can't move anywhere in the South, really. I mean, you can't. Where do you go? Where do you go to outrun this stuff? You can't outrun it. You can't move away from it. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody there to shove some chemicals in your face, in your lungs, in your body somehow. And if you can't run from it, it's fight or flight. And they've made flight, you know, not an option. So it's stay and fight. And how do you do it? Damn it, go with Kevin's idea, you know? I'm going to go back to the comments. It's like a rabbit hole, man. It's a rabbit hole, and once you start going down it, it's like all this stuff starts spewing out. Because this is all stuff I never knew about. And I'm just now finding out that Monsanto poisoned and killed people with dioxin. Like their skin was blistering off, like Agent Orange. Like it just, this is stuff that nobody, and I'm just like a generation or two removed from that, and I didn't know that happened. There's people here that didn't know about the coal dam that broke loose and wiped out 30 miles of towns. You know, they don't know about Shelley Moore Capta's dad having to go to prison because he extorted money from the coal industry. They don't know about Joe Manchin's uncle that had to resign because he was being impeached over funds lost to Wall Street back in the 80s. I mean, the corruption and working in tandem with the businesses, it's so deep, and it's scary to know that it's all right there, right underneath the surface, and nobody knows about this stuff. Nobody. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to tell y'all about all the depressing and horrible shit that goes on. You know? And then they look at us and say, well, you know, it's because you don't eat right, or it's because, you know, whatever, that's not I use that. That's what everybody does. Yeah, I am depressing myself. I am so bad. As I said, it's like a rabbit hole, man. Once you start getting into one thing, it's just like this, like, depressing, like, news story vomit that just comes up. I just can't help it. It's kind of therapeutic to get it all out. But shit, man, it's depressing. I try to keep it positive, but, you know, and then I'm like, people are dying, everybody's dying, there's cancer everywhere. Ah, panic. But that's what people need to do here, you know? Like, people need to know about this stuff because they're not nearly pissed enough. Like, it's okay to be scared, but you need to start getting pissed. People around here just treat it as something normal. They think it's normal that their birth defects are as high as they are and that cancer is as high as it is. Like, it's just normal because it happens to everybody. And it's just like, no, people, even if it is normal, it's not right. So, yeah. Thank you, Independent. Thank you for stopping. Like, sometimes you got to do that because, like, yeah, it's bad. Yeah, Yeah, Adrian, they don't see the need here. And that's what pissed me off so much about Elizabeth Warren taking up for Joe Manchin. And it's just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? Why would you do that to us? Why would you want to inflict Joe Manchin on us? It's people like him that are the reason why we have things the way that they are. And they call it a flyover state. They don't think we're worth the time to come here and talk to these people. I mean, look what Bernie did. Look what he did. Love him or hate him, he came here and he opened people's eyes up to single payer. He opened their eyes up to a world like without coal. He did all these things because he came here. He brought the facts with him, and he just talked to us. He said, "What's important to you?" Okay, well, I got a solution for that. That's all he did. That's all any of these people need to do. But they're too lazy, and they'd rather, or greedy, because they'd rather keep their money and campaign. It's not about winning. It's about keeping people in that system. And Democrats make more money to lose in places like here. So, exactly. And who's going to talk about the damn gay frogs and their rights? Nobody. Oh, I needed that. Yeah. God, and you know what? I fucking love science because you know what? Science is borderline like religion for me. Like, I have so much, like, I hear all these stories about like technology and stuff, and it's just like, we could do anything. We could do anything. We use the sun for energy. We can use the sun and like the wind. Like, we can turn that into electricity. Like, if that's like magic, like, we can do anything. We put a man on the moon. We sent, whatever it's called, rocket or whatever, over to Mars and back again. Like, we can do stuff. I mean, look at the fantastic things that we can do. And they're telling me that we have to mine coal. Yeah, and a lot of these, yes. Independent Outsider said that there's a teenage girl that developed a water cleaning system. There are people, and that, oh, God, makes me feel so bad. I'm like, they're half my age, and they've done, like, more, they've done so much. I'm like, oh, my God, they're so smart. Like, today's young people, I almost feel sorry for these corporations and politicians because they don't even know what's coming at them. These young people are so smart. And they choose to use that for stuff like that. Giving people clean water, Damn right. Oh, if you're trying to post a link, if you just leave the HTTP www off, it'll work. You can post it in the thing there, in the chat. Oh my gosh, am I crazy? In a good way. Yeah, I mean, that's what we really need to do. I'd love to see more scientists here. I would love to see that. We need people, like, I want to turn, like, West Virginia into, like, an idea farm, like, where we could have people that were, like educated, and they could go and, like, and that's, like, their thing, like, they could just go out and, like, find solutions for all this, all these things. That'd be so cool. All right. Oh my God, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. All right. I really, like, I seriously have like a list like a mile long of stuff I gotta do around this house. But I keep getting involved in this, and I know, like, I'm not balancing my time out very well because I'm supposed to be like, I don't know, there's a fly. I don't know, I got dishes and stuff I gotta do. I gotta clean the house. Like, there's, like, a pile of laundry from, like, all week. I've been doing, like, the after hours and yeah, I haven't been responsible. And I've been doing a lot of gaming too, because like this stuff is so depressing. Like you have to balance that out with some like fun, you know. So like I end up like just like gaming with my son. I'm playing this like, I don't know, some like Minecraft knockoff like Terraria or something. It's super fun. Uh, yeah. So yeah, I've been very irresponsible this past week. It's catched up with me, but yeah, I'm probably gonna log off of here. Um, if y'all have any links or whatever, I've got a Facebook group, Redneckonomics, and then or on Twitter it's _Redneckonomics. So yeah, thank you so much for all of the wonderful information and ideas and links, and I'm definitely going to check all this stuff out, and hopefully next Sunday I'll get back on here a little bit earlier, so that way we can talk better. Oh, there's a new person. Sheen Nemo. I'm not sure how to say that, but good night. Thank you, and hopefully I'll see you back next week. All right, signing off now.